WAC. We're not sure if we're going to be in the Mountain West Conference. So what that did was kind of froze us in with any ability to make any changes to our schedule. We knew this, that our two non-conference home games were New Mexico and UNLV. So once it was determined that we were going to be in the Mountain West Conference, the first thing that happened was this, that New Mexico called us and said, well, since we're not going to get a non-conference return game, we're not going to play you next year. Now, that was one of the things. So right off the bat, we lost our opening home game. And through, some discussions probably over the course of 2.5 months, we finally determined that we wanted to keep them on the schedule, and we had to move down to October 15th. It meant we had an open date on September 3rd because we had, I'm trying to think of the schedule now. Let's see, we didn't play out September 3rd this year. So what I did was over the course, right up until the Thursday of the bowl game, we worked on dropping Oregon from the schedule. And we thought we had it done on January 7th. Turns out on January 14th, all the work we'd done ended up falling through because somebody else lost the game and they ended up picking the team we were going to play. Very complicated. But part of that dilemma was that, to be honest, the schedule that we're playing this year should have been done 3 years, should have been completed at least 3 years ago. So what I've done from a proactive standpoint since I took over the scheduling, took it over last June, but we really couldn't do much during that period of time when all these conference changes were happening. That I've tried to complete our schedule. I think we're complete through 2017 right now. And that's what we did over the course of the summer, because you can't be looking for games 5.5 months before you were supposed to play. And that was kind of the dilemma that we were in. And I compress it that much because when we released our schedule this year, we released it right at the end of March. So from November, December, January, February, March, there's 5 months to finish that schedule. It's pretty tough task too, because number one, people are already pretty well set in their schedules. Number two, it's when you have a season like we had last year, people don't really want to play you very much. They're not very excited about playing a team that, even though we're not in the BCS conference, we're pretty threatening. We're pretty good. Yeah. And I have been working on the schedule to increase or enhance the quality of our home schedule. We're going to play 2 Pac-10 schools every year from now on, and 1 home and 1 away. We're going to play a 1 AA school every year, just early in the season to get us a chance to work some of the kinks out offensively and defensively. And we've added Washington State home and home, Oregon State home and home. We did 2-for-1s with UCLA, did 2-for-1s with Cal. But those are games that I think our fans are gonna be excited about. Plus, we're not gonna go through this conference change. And I'm gonna tell you something that most folks don't know. The Mountain West Conference had 2 opportunities to help us with our schedule this year and did not.
How's that?
The Western, I'm just gonna tell you that. Right. 2 opportunities to help us with games, where we'd have a home game in September, and they decided that because we weren't conference members yet, they really couldn't force their membership to change. And the Western Athletic Conference had a couple of opportunities, and they didn't help us as much as they could either. So, in essence, what we were this year, we were a school really we're going to win the Western Athletic Conference. We want to win the Commissioner's Cup this year. But we were in a situation where the WAC wasn't going to do us any favors, and either was the Mountain West. So, kind of put us in a funny position. I had 3 teams that we could have played at home on September 3rd, but we couldn't move some of those games, and as a result, we ended up with 4 games on the road. Probably the worst thing anybody could have imagined happened. And I'll tell you what I spent most of my time on in November, December, January, and most of February is trying to get Boise State off the schedule and trying to get Oregon off the schedule. Who wants to play now?
No, especially after losing as much as we did on the road.
Yeah, I mean, who would have wanted to play Boise State and Oregon?
Yeah.
They were 2 top 5 teams.
Mm-hmm.
So what we've done is we went through the first 4 weeks of the season this year, and we went 1-3. We had a chance to be 2-2. Tech game, and we played in our first 4 games. We played 3 top 25 teams. Now, I think we can hold our own with most folks, but I think it was a great challenge for our kids to go on the road like that. It'll never happen again. But it was just that perfect storm of not having enough time to finish the schedule. And again, from a scheduling perspective, because I've done it before at another institution, you need to do these schedules in advance. You can't be worrying about, well, who am I going to, right now we're a year away from next season. I'm still looking for one home game. We have one on September 15th. And I'm pretty close. And especially with this change that's happening right now with the Big 12 and the ACC and the Big East, there's going to be people looking for games. I know there's 3 Big 12 schools today that we have a possibility to get them here next year on September 22nd. So, but the scheduling thing is kind of like shaving. If you don't do it every day, you look like a bum. And you have to just continue to work on it. I spent probably 15, 20 minutes this morning looking at my national schedule of people's games and seeing who should I contact today. So it's a very interesting business. It's a very tough business. And what you don't want to do is you don't want to put yourself in a position where you're playing too many heavy hitters early, even though the money is great. But that's the situation we got in this year. We were kind of between conferences and didn't get a lot of help from either side. So that's what I can tell you about the schedule.